Finally, God is exposing your daughter. Your daughter is my dear child. If you believe in angels, start this video and watch it completely. Angel says, God says, my child, stop everything and listen carefully. Archangel Michael says, this is an urgent message. And I order you not to ignore it because what you are about to hear is not a coincidence. It is about your family. It is about your daughter. And heaven has been waiting for you to open your eyes. This moment was chosen by divine timing. You are not here by accident. Michael says, I have seen what your daughter has done. I have seen what she hides, and I cannot stay silent any longer. Heaven has decided to expose the truth that has been kept from you. Because you have prayed for answers, you have wept, asking God to reveal what has been making your spirit uneasy. And finally, God says, I am answering your prayer. For days, angels have been circling your home, whispering divine protection over you. They saw your sleepless nights, your heart asking silently, what is wrong with my child? Why do I feel this strange distance? You did not imagine that feeling. It was a heavenly alert. Archangel Michael says, there are secrets wrapped around your daughter's life, and the time has come for exposure and redemption. God says, I am not showing this to punish, but to heal, to break the chains of deception that were forged in silence. You can't believe how deep this goes. But heaven says stay calm because the truth that shocks you will also free you. Your daughter, the one you have loved with all your heart, has been walking through a storm you never saw coming. There are things she carries that she could not say aloud. Archangel Michael has watched her soul wrestle with guilt, fear, and pressure. She was drawn into something that looked harmless at first. A person, a situation, a promise that glittered like gold, but behind it was darkness wearing a mask of light. God says, do not blame yourself, you raised her with love. You gave her truth. But sometimes the serpent hides among flowers. Heaven wants you to know this revelation comes not to break your family apart but to save it. Archangel Michael says, a force has been watching your family, trying to destroy its unity through confusion, through misunderstanding, through lies whispered in moments of weakness. But no more. God says this cycle ends now. The angelic realm is standing in front of your home, guarding every door and window because what happens next will shift everything. Michael says he has been trying to reach your daughter in dreams. Have you noticed her restless sleep, her eyes that look distant, her voice that trembles sometimes when she speaks? That's not just stress. That is the spiritual weight of what she's been hiding. She has been influenced, tempted, and trapped by someone who pretends to care for her. But their intention was manipulation. God says the person who gained her trust was not sent by light, but by shadow. And now heaven is stepping in. You can't believe how close this deception came to your home. Archangel Michael says, I stood at her side the night she cried alone when she said, God, I don't know what to do anymore. I touched her shoulder, but she did not recognize my presence. She thought no one could hear her, but we all did. The heavens heard her cry. God says, I did not ignore her. I waited for the right time to reveal everything to you, my chosen one, because you are the pillar of faith in your family. God continues, your daughter has been living with fear of being judged. Fear of losing your love if she spoke the truth. But I, your Lord, say this truth will not destroy your love. It will strengthen it. The devil wanted you to discover it through gossip, through accusation, through pain. But I will let you discover it through revelation and grace. What she is hiding will shock you, but it will also explain the silence, the sudden mood changes, the time she avoided your eyes. God says, do not confront her in anger. Speak to her in calmness. Tell her that the angels have already forgiven her. I am not exposing her to shame her. I am exposing her to free her. Archangel Michael says, this is not a coincidence that you are reading this message right now. I guided your attention here because the next 24 hours hold divine importance. The truth must come to light soon. Heaven is preparing your heart to receive it without fear. You may not know this yet, but your daughter has been struggling between two paths. One leads to light, one to darkness. Someone tried to convince her that doing something questionable would help your family, but it was a lie. Michael says she was tricked into believing a wrong path was right. But the divine hand has intervened before it went too far. God says she is still my child. She can still be saved, and through your faith she will be. You can't believe how much the enemy tried to manipulate her emotions. They made her believe she was alone. They made her think no one would understand. They planted shame inside her heart so she would hide the truth instead of healing from it. But God says that shame is being burned away right now by the fire of truth. Archangel Michael stands guard, his sword glowing with divine light, separating your daughter from the people and energies that have tried to mislead her. He says, no dark force can claim her anymore. She belongs to heaven. But listen carefully, my child. God says this exposure is also a lesson for you. I want you to know that even the purest hearts can get lost when they stop believing that I am watching. But I never left your family. Every tear you cried for your daughter, every prayer you whispered thinking I did not hear, I collected them. I was waiting for this moment. God continues, do not let fear control you when the truth unfolds. Instead, let your love speak louder. She needs your arms, not your anger. She needs your understanding, not your disappointment. Remember, you too were once lost and I found you. Now you must find her. Archangel Michael says, I am showing you visions in your spirit. Moments that didn't make sense before will start connecting. The time she came home late, the calls she avoided answering in your presence, the tears she tried to hide, all those were signals. Heaven is decoding them for you now. You are being chosen to restore your family's foundation. God says your family has a divine purpose. The enemy has been trying to destroy it for generations because of the blessings tied to your bloodline. But through your prayer and this revelation, the curse is broken. Michael says, be ready. A moment is coming when your daughter will finally tell you the truth. It may happen through tears, through confession, through silence. But when it does, don't say a single word of anger. Just hold her and say, God already knows and God already forgave. That sentence will release her spirit. Heavenly realms are shifting around you right now. God says you may feel warmth, a chill, or sudden emotion. This is not fear. This is my spirit confirming that what you are reading is true. Angels are touching your heart because divine awareness is awakening inside you. You are not imagining this moment. Michael says, your daughter has been connected with someone online who has been influencing her thoughts. That person has been pretending to care, but behind the mask, they are using her innocence for personal gain. God says, do not panic. I am removing that person's power, their lies will collapse like dust. Your daughter will wake up spiritually. God says she will have a dream soon, a vivid dream where she sees a bright being with wings and blue light. That will be Michael. He will tell her, go back to your mother. Tell her the truth. When that happens, embrace her immediately. Michael says, the spirit of confusion that tried to live in your home is being expelled. Your prayers are breaking chains. God says, the truth about your daughter will not end in disaster. It will end in healing. But I needed you to know first so your heart is ready. Heaven says your daughter's destiny is still glorious. She has a calling over her life that the enemy fears. That's why there were so many attacks against her peace. But now angels are surrounding her with a circle of protection. God says no weapon formed against her will prosper. Archangel Michael says there is one more thing you must know. A woman around her age or slightly older has been pretending to be her friend but is actually the one leading her astray. This woman acts sweet but speaks poison. Do not confront her yet. Heaven will remove her soon in a way that will expose her true face. God says that exposure will happen naturally. You will witness it without lifting a finger. You can't believe how divine justice works quietly, powerfully without you needing to fight. Michael says, heaven is your defense. God says, I am rebuilding your family's foundation through truth. Soon peace will enter your home again. The laughter that was missing will return. The distance will vanish. Right now, heaven is shifting timelines. The pain that seemed permanent will soon feel like a distant shadow. You are being chosen as the divine messenger inside your family. God says, you are not just a parent. You are my soldier of light in this bloodline. Michael says, you will soon see a sign that confirms everything. A feather near your doorway or a sudden soft light flickering when you pray. When you see it, say aloud, thank you, God, for saving my daughter. That declaration will seal her deliverance. Your daughter's hidden truth may involve mistakes, emotional choices, or secret fears, but none of that will destroy her destiny. God says, I can turn her guilt into guidance, her shame into strength. Michael says, do not gossip. Do not share her struggle with others. Keep it between you, God, and me. This is sacred family healing. You are safe. God says nothing will go wrong with you. I am protecting your body, mind, and home. Every demon that tried to use your daughter to reach you has been rebuked in my name. Heaven is celebrating your obedience. You opened this message when you could have scrolled away. That act alone has changed your family's future. God says, you listen to my voice disguised in written words. Because of your faith, I will bless your family financially and emotionally. Your home will become a house of light, Michael says, when you pray tonight, call my name. Say, Archangel Michael, shield my daughter. I will come immediately. The angels are rejoicing because the divine plan is unfolding. Your daughter's path is being redirected to destiny. God says she will rise from this confusion with wisdom. She will speak testimonies one day about how light found her. You can't believe how close she was to losing her peace. But now, because of your love and this revelation, her life is saved. Heaven works in ways that seem strange. But every delay, every silence, every sleepless night was preparing you for this exact moment. Michael says, I will walk before her. Every temptation, every false friend will fall away. You will see it. She will cry, but those tears will be cleansing tears. God says, hold her hand and remind her that I am not angry. Tell her that my mercy runs deeper than any secret. A new season is coming for your family. God says, by the next sunrise, a spiritual weight will lift. You will feel peace where there was worry. Michael says, there may still be small aftershocks, people talking, emotions rising, but do not fear. They are signs of the darkness leaving. Stay calm and pray. I am standing by your side. God says, this message reached you at divine timing because heaven trusts you with truth. Do not waste it. Act with love. Your daughter will soon realize how powerful your faith truly is. She will see miracles through you, God says, through your example. She will remember me again. Michael says, this is not the end. It is the beginning of your family's redemption. And as you read this final part, heaven whispers, be still. You are safe. Your daughter is being protected. The truth will unfold and love will win. God says, you did not lose her. You are saving her right now through your belief. Trust my plan, for I never fail those who trust me. What was hidden in darkness is now revealed in light. Archangel Michael says, I am here mighty and loyal. I have drawn my sword over your home. No curse, no deception, no evil plan can touch you. Now, this message is sealed by heaven's authority. God says, rest in peace tonight, my child. I am in control. Your family is under my wings, and your daughter's story will become a testimony of light. You can't believe how quickly divine order restores what was broken. But you will see it soon. Your daughter will smile with true peace again. God says this is your sign that healing has begun. God says this is not an ordinary moment. Heaven is trembling with urgency because a sacred revelation is about to unfold in your life. Archangel Michael has been sent to reach you, and he is speaking now through this divine current that flows into your heart. He says, do not ignore this. This is about your family. This is about your daughter. The light that surrounds you right now is the same light that once wrapped the prophets when they were chosen to see truth hidden from human eyes. You may feel your heart beating faster as you read this because something within you already knows that this message carries the vibration of truth. God has chosen this moment to expose what has been veiled. Not to destroy, but to deliver. Not to punish, but to protect. For weeks, you may have felt an unexplainable tension, as though your spirit could sense something you could not name. You may have dreamed of your daughter or seen her face in moments when your thoughts were far away. Those were not coincidences. Those were the whispers of heaven preparing you for what is now being revealed. God says, I am exposing your daughter, not to shame her, but to save her. There are things happening around her that she has been too afraid to speak about. There are decisions she made thinking they were harmless, but they have opened spiritual doors she does not understand. You as her divine protector on earth are being awakened to step into prayer, to step into faith, and to become the shield of light that only you can be. Archangel Michael says, your daughter has been under a quiet influence, a hidden hand guiding her into confusion. It has not been open rebellion, but subtle deception. There were people who promised her friendship but carried envy inside. There were voices that sounded kind but spoke against the divine purpose written over her life. She began to doubt her own worth. And in that doubt, she allowed shadows to settle where light once lived. Heaven has been watching with compassion, waiting for the appointed time to reveal this truth to you. And now that time has come, you cannot believe what she has been through because she has carried it behind her smiles. There are tears she never showed you, conversations she deleted before you could see them, and fears she buried beneath laughter. God says he saw every moment when she almost broke down, but chose silence because she didn't want to be a burden. He saw her nights when she stared at the ceiling, feeling lost, not knowing that angels stood around her bed, guarding her from harm. God says, I protected her when you could not be there. I carried her when she forgot how to pray. I am the one who now sends this message to remind you that no secret can remain hidden under my watchful eye. Archangel Michael's sword of truth has descended into your household. The energy in your home will begin to shift because truth has a vibration that changes the air itself. You may notice that objects feel lighter, that a strange calm replaces the anxiety that once lingered. That is the evidence of heavenly presence. Michael says, your daughter is not lost. She is being rescued. She has walked too close to those who pretend to love her but secretly drain her spirit. They laugh with her but speak against her destiny when she turns away. God is exposing this not to hurt her but to bring her into freedom. God wants you to know that you are not to approach this with anger. The revelation of truth is not an invitation to judge. It is a call to intercede. Heaven reveals only to those who are strong enough to handle what is shown. The fact that you are reading this right now means you are chosen as the guardian who will stand between darkness and your daughter's future. Michael says, pray for her, not from fear, but from authority. Speak protection over her name, her mind, and her choices. For when a parent prays in alignment with God, every chain begins to loosen. You can't believe what she's been carrying in her heart because she made it look effortless. But there is a storm that rages quietly inside her. She questions if she's worthy of love, if she's made too many mistakes to be forgiven, if she can ever return to the innocence she once knew. God says, tell her that I never left her. Tell her that no matter how far she thinks she has gone, my grace runs deeper still. Your daughter is not the same person she was a year ago. Life has taught her lessons through pain, but those lessons are not her punishment. They are her preparation. There was a moment recently when she almost confessed something to you. But fear closed her lips. She wanted to say she felt trapped by something unseen. That there were nights when she felt a presence watching her. That sometimes she hears thoughts that aren't hers trying to convince her she is alone. God says that moment is why He intervened. The spiritual world around her has been stirred because she is nearing a great breakthrough, and the forces of darkness always fight hardest right before a divine rising. Heaven's alarm was sounded and Archangel Michael was dispatched to guard her through this transition. Now God is exposing the deeper truth, not to humiliate her but to remove every false covering. There is a friend, a voice, perhaps even a romantic connection that has not been honest. This person presented themselves as caring, but behind that facade is manipulation. They have been using emotional control to make her question her family's love. Michael says, cut that tie in prayer, do not confront in anger. Confront in spirit. For when you speak heaven's language, no darkness can resist. The reason you couldn't see it before was because God needed you to trust His timing. Had you discovered it earlier, your reaction might have been born of fear. But now your spirit has matured to respond with faith. You have been prepared through your own struggles to become the vessel of calm when truth is unveiled. You are now capable of seeing what others would collapse under. That is why this message came to you and not to someone else. Heaven trusts your heart. Archangel Michael says, your daughter has angels assigned specifically to her. One of them stands near her whenever she sleeps. Another walks beside her during travel. And another has been placed to guard her mind against destructive thoughts. You may not see them, but sometimes you can feel them when you think of her suddenly and feel peace wash over you. That is not coincidence. It is confirmation. Michael says, when you feel that peace, know that we are near. When you feel sudden warmth in your chest while thinking of her, it is our sign that she is under divine watch. God is saying that this exposure will bring restoration. There will be tears, but they will cleanse. There will be conversations, but they will heal. There will be truth, but it will. God says, my child, listen carefully, for this message is being delivered under the highest divine order. Archangel Michael himself has come forth with trembling wings and blazing light, and he speaks in urgency, saying, do not ignore this. This is about your family. This is about your daughter. The heavens have been stirred because something hidden for a long time is about to be revealed. You may think you know your family. You may think everything is fine. But what God is showing now is not ordinary. It is sacred truth breaking through the walls of illusion. Michael's voice echoes in the realms as he says, I order you not to ignore this. I contact you because your prayers, your tears, and your sleepless nights have reached the throne of heaven. For a long time, you have been crying silently for understanding, for peace, for restoration. God has seen those moments when you whispered your daughter's name in prayer, unsure what was really happening in her heart. God says he has heard every word you spoke, even those you thought were too small or too painful to matter. He has been watching. And now the time of exposure and truth has come. Your daughter, your own flesh and blood, has been surrounded by confusion, pressure, and hidden voices. You thought she was simply distant or distracted, but in reality, she has been carrying a heavy burden that she could not share. God says she has been standing at a crossroads, torn between what is right and what the world has been offering her. The enemy tried to convince her that she had to hide, to pretend, to wear a mask even before you. But God says, enough. The divine order has been released to bring everything to light. Nothing will remain hidden anymore. Archangel Michael says, I have stood beside her. I have fought battles that you never saw. There were nights when darkness tried to pull her soul into despair, but the prayers of the righteous, your prayers, created a shield around her. You may have felt powerless, but every time you prayed, you were commanding angels to surround her. Every tear that fell from your eyes became a weapon in the spiritual realm. God says he is proud of you because even when you didn't understand, you never gave up on your child. But now what you need to know is not to bring fear or shame. It is to bring freedom. Your daughter has been hiding something deep within. It's not evil, it's pain. She has been silently crying out for someone to understand her heart. God says that there is a secret she has carried since a specific moment in her past. Something that shaped her behavior, her choices, her silence. She believed that if she ever spoke about it, no one would love her again, but heaven says that is a lie. God loves her infinitely, and He is using this moment to expose the lie and replace it with truth. Michael is standing right now beside her spiritual self. His sword drawn not against her but against the darkness that chained her spirit. He declares, "This child is not lost. This child is not broken beyond repair. This child belongs to the light." God says, "I have written her name in my book of destiny." And no mistake, no secret, no fear can erase it. The Lord's compassion is overwhelming right now, pouring like living water through every unseen wound in your family. You can't believe what you are about to see because it will feel almost unreal. The change that will happen. The daughter who seemed distant will begin to come back. But not through confrontation. It will happen through love. God says that the exposure that is happening is not punishment. It is healing. It is the removal of every spiritual poison that has been working quietly, behind the scenes. Every generational curse, every word spoken in anger, every shadow that attached itself through disappointment or trauma, He is burning them away now. The Holy Spirit is whispering, "Prepare your heart, not to accuse, but to embrace, for your daughter is being touched by divine light in ways you can't see." She may have been listening to wrong voices, following wrong people, or trying to fit into places that didn't reflect her soul. But God says, "I am calling her back to her original identity, the one I gave her before the world touched her." This moment is sacred. It's not just about family drama or misunderstandings. It's about restoration of destiny. There were people who spoke against your family, who whispered lies, who wanted division between you and your daughter. Some of them smiled in front of you, but secretly wanted your peace to shatter. God says that He has seen them all, and He will deal with them in His own time. But for now, focus not on revenge but on redemption. Because the same power that exposes also heals. The same fire that uncovers also purifies. Michael says that last night when you were thinking about your daughter and wondering if you should reach out again or stay silent, an angel stood beside her. That angel touched her heart with warmth that she couldn't explain. It was the moment heaven marked as the beginning of her awakening. She may not tell you immediately what's happening inside her. But soon you will notice the signs. Her tone softening, her eyes regaining peace, her soul starting to glow again. These are the early signs of divine exposure leading to transformation. God says, do not react in anger when truth surfaces. Listen, understand, forgive, and love. Because what's coming is not meant to destroy your bond. It's meant to rebuild it stronger than ever. Your daughter's truth will shock you. Yes, but after the shock will come liberation. You will realize that behind her mistakes, behind her silence, there was confusion, caused by spiritual attacks. The devil saw her light and tried to dim it. But God says, no one can snuff out the flame I have placed within her. There was a moment in her past when she prayed quietly, God, if you're real, please don't leave me. That prayer whispered in brokenness became the reason heaven intervened. She didn't even realize how much that moment meant. But from that very day, angels began positioning circumstances for her return to grace. You may not have known this, but now you are being shown so you can cooperate with heaven's plan. Michael says, stand still and trust. Do not speak words of fear. Speak words of faith. Because your words are power. When you bless her name, heaven amplifies that blessing. When you speak forgiveness, darkness loses its grip. When you say, God, I surrender my daughter to you, you give permission for miracles to manifest. God says, I am not exposing her to shame her. I am exposing her to save her. The love of God is fierce and protective. It doesn't tolerate deception because deception destroys the soul. That's why this revelation feels intense. It's divine surgery. It hurts for a moment, but it heals for eternity. You will one day thank God for this painful but holy exposure because it will be the turning point for your family. The Lord reminds you, you are not losing your daughter. You are getting her back. Even if she seems rebellious, even if her choices confuse you, even if her path looks uncertain, God's hand is over her. He is rearranging her story. He is bringing divine mentors into her life. People who will speak truth where lies once ruled. He is restoring her confidence, her purpose, her purity. She will one day stand and say, if not for God and my parents' prayers would have been lost. Do not allow guilt to take root. Many parents blame themselves when children struggle. But God says, you did what you could, and I am doing what you cannot. The moment you released your daughter to me in prayer, I took over. The battle has been fierce, but victory is guaranteed. You are not alone in this. Michael and his legions have been assigned to your household. You may even begin to feel peace where there was anxiety. That's how you'll know the angels are near. In the coming days, something may happen that seems small. A message, a dream, a sudden visit, or an unexpected confession. Do not dismiss it. It will be the doorway to breakthrough. God says, I will use ordinary moments to deliver extraordinary miracles. Pay attention to divine timing because heaven is orchestrating every detail. There will also be people who will try to interfere, people who may say, don't believe in such things or you're overreacting. Ignore them. They don't understand that this is a spiritual process. You are not dealing with ordinary circumstances. You are dealing with destiny. And destiny always comes with opposition. But remember, greater is he who is in you than he who is in the world. Michael stands ready with his sword of truth, declaring that every false friend, every manipulative influence, every spiritual parasite feeding off your daughter's energy is being cut off now. The heavenly decree has gone forth. Enough. Your family is being repositioned for divine alignment. What was meant for destruction is turning into deliverance. God says, I have waited for this moment. Because when truth enters, healing follows. And when healing begins, generations are set free. Your daughter will not repeat the mistakes of the past. She will break cycles. She will rise. She will walk in light. The enemy tried to convince her that she was unworthy, that she was unloved. But now she will know that she has always been chosen. You will look back and realize that everything you went through, the misunderstandings, the distance, the worry was preparation for this restoration. It taught you endurance, patience, compassion. It shaped your faith into something unshakable. You are not the same person you were before this trial began. God has been transforming you too. Because for your daughter to be healed, you had to first be strengthened. Michael whispers, now, tell them heaven has not abandoned you. You may have thought God was silent, but he was working behind the curtain. Every delay had a divine purpose. The silence of God was never rejection. It was orchestration. He was aligning hearts, breaking barriers, cleansing motives, preparing the stage for miracle manifestation. God says this message reached you at the perfect time because the process is already in motion. The exposure is happening not in chaos but in order. What you need to do now is pray from a place of peace, not panic. Pray not for control but for clarity. Pray not out of fear but out of faith. When you look at your daughter next, see her not as a mistake maker, but as a miracle in progress. Speak over her the words of life. Say, you are loved. You are chosen. You are safe. These words carry power. They echo in her spirit even when she pretends not to hear. Because love penetrates.